It is often thought clever to say that science is no more than our modern origin myth. The Jews had their Adam and Eve, the Sumerians their Marduk and Gilgamesh, the Greeks Zeus and the Olympians, the Norsemen their Valhalla. What is evolution, some smart people say, but our modern equivalent of gods and epic heroes, neither better nor worse, neither truer nor falser? There is a fashionable salon philosophy called cultural relativism, which holds, in its extreme form, that science has no more claim to truth than tribal myth. Science is just the mythology favoured by our modern Western tribe.
I once was provoked by an anthropologist colleague into putting the point starkly as follows. Suppose there is a tribe, I said, who believe that the moon is an old calabash tossed into the sky, hanging only just out of reach above the treetops. Do you really claim that our scientific truth, that the moon is about 250,000 miles away and a quarter the diameter of the Earth, is no more true than the tribe's calabash? Yes, the anthropologist said, we are just brought up in a culture that sees the world in a scientific way. They are brought up to see the world in another way. Neither way is more true than the other. Show me a cultural relativist at 30,000 feet and I'll show you a hypocrite. Aeroplanes built according to scientific principles work. They stay aloft and they get you to a chosen destination. Aeroplanes built to tribal or mythological specifications, such as the dummy planes of the cargo cults in jungle clearings or the beeswaxed wings of Icarus, don't. If you are flying to an international congress of anthropologists or literary critics, the reason you will probably get there is that a lot of scientifically trained engineers have got their sums right. Science, acting on good evidence that the moon orbits the Earth 250,000 miles away, using computers and rockets, has succeeded in placing people on its surface. Tribal science, believing that the moon is just above the treetops, will never touch it outside of dreams. I seldom give a public lecture without a member of the audience brightly coming up with something along the same lines as my anthropologist colleague, and it usually elicits a murmuration of approving nods. No doubt the nodders feel good and liberal and unracist. An even more reliable nod-provoker is, fundamentally, your belief in evolution comes down to faith, and therefore it's no better than somebody else's belief in the Garden of Eden. Every tribe has had its origin myth, its story to account for the universe, life, and humanity. There is a sense in which science does indeed provide the equivalent of this, at least for the educated section of our modern society. Science may even be described as a religion, and I have, not entirely facetiously, published a brief case for science as an appropriate subject for religious education classes.